Chapter 23. We continue as we see a woman welcome people and tell them to get fired up as it's finally time. We see that she's hosting a quiz show. She welcomes the audience and the participants to the Shoyo Town Quiz Tournament, and this time, they're coming to them live on Teleshoyo. We see Shikado saying, "It's rare for Yukito to look this exhausted." Yukito replies and tells them that he was reviewing the Goseibai Shikimoku. Kuki looks at him and tells him that it looks like he was being studious, but there's no way that's what it really is. The MC thinks that in his household, motherly love somehow turns into lust and seduction. Even Huju Yasutoki could only chuckle awkwardly at that. The host introduces the three as she says, "Let's welcome our first group, the fun-loving first-year B-class trio, Team Cheating Champs." She tries being funny and tells them that cheating is against the rules after seeing the team name. She introduces the next group as she says, "Next up is the senior citizen team. Old Man Homer, let us see those years of experience and wisdom in action." As the host is doing this, Shikado looks worried and tells the MC if it's really all right for her to be here. He tells her that she's the key figure in this situation. If there are any questions about reptiles, he'll be depending on her. She laughs and tells him to leave it to her, but it's more likely that she won't get to show off, though. As Yukito looks confident, she says that, unless some kind of quiz champion shows up, they've pretty much got this in the bag. Now we see the host saying that the winners are Class 1 B's Cheating Champs, as the three celebrate in the back. The host gives Yukito the mic as she congratulates him and asks him how does it feel to take the win. He takes the mic and ignores the question and tells them that there's actually a reason behind their team name. Their whole class did really well on the last test, but they've been falsely accused of cheating and are being treated unfairly. He continues and says that only Fukushito-sensei, their homeroom teacher, and Sanjuji-sensei believed in them. He still can't wrap his head around the fact that the principal and the rest would actually do something that makes the school look bad. As the audience hears this, she gets confused. Yukito looks serious as he looks into the camera and tells everyone that today they participated in the quiz tournament to prove their innocence. Shikado tells them that they are sad that they are being suspected, even though they are innocent. Kuki asks her if he's next and immediately takes the mic and says, "Principal, stop this. We're not cheating," with a blank face. Seeing Kuki like this makes the MC say that he's bad at acting. The host looks confused and worried as she asks, "So that's the story behind it, huh? Thanks for sharing it." Now we see the three drinking juice as they say that it's very hot. We see them sitting at a bench. Kuki asks them, should he just wear his school jacket, just to make it obvious that they are from Shuku High School. Yukito tells him that there's no need for that. Shikado asks him, "Isn't that what they're aiming for, though?" Yukito smiles and says, "Think about it. Who's the angriest right now? And what's the one thing the school wants to avoid the most?" He tells them that even if they don't lift a finger, things will take care of themselves. Yukito and Shikado agree and smile as they touch tips and say Shikado should be able to grasp it without delay. Shikado looks scared as she tells them that her mom was super mad. Kuki gets worried and tells her that makes sense now. He tells them that he's starting to feel sorry for them, but the MC calmly tells them that they will reap what they sow. As Yukito drinks the juice, he asks Kuki if the refreshing handsome guy will go with them. Kuki looks embarrassed as he says, "Yeah, I told my mom about it and she got really excited. It was kinda embarrassing though." The MC explains that it was the same for their classmates. Apparently, most of their parents are coming too. Shikado tells them that it seems like her mom was planning to come from the beginning. Kuki asks the MC if his mom will come. Hearing this scares him, and he tries to ignore the question by saying that his head hurts and goes to sleep on the table. Now, we see Yukito telling someone that it's nothing special and they should take it. We see that it's his mom's sister. She smiles and says, "Yuki-chan, I'm always telling you this, but you really don't have to be considerate." He replies and says that he's afraid he can't let that happen. As we see him petting a rabbit, she tells him that even Friedrich II has totally warmed up to him and asks him if animals have always loved him. He thinks and says, "There's no way, at least I think, or maybe could be." She smiles and tells him that he was probably a tamer in his past life and asks him if he likes rabbits. As he holds up the rabbit, he tells her that rabbits are really cute, and his name even has the character for rabbit in it. Hearing this makes her say that she'll go ahead and order that reverse bunny girl outfit then. The MC thinks what's a reverse bunny suit and checks it on his phone. As soon as he checks it, he goes silent. He suddenly gets scared and tells her to wait, and that they should calm down and talk this out. She suddenly tells him to take a look at international politics and says, talking things out never solves anything. He just agrees with her after hearing this. She goes ahead and orders the bunny suit. Seeing this shocks the MC. He sits in pain and thinks that this ain't good at all and asks her what is she planning to do with that. She tells him, of course, to wear. He asks who will. She says that she will wear it. He makes an excuse and tries to walk out of the house, but she grabs his collar and asks him, do you honestly think you can get away? Now we see him think that the reason he came to Setsuka-san's apartment today is to ask if she could attend the class observation. She looks happy as she thanks him for inviting her and says she'll make sure to dress up nicely. He tells her to please take it easy as she's already too stunning as she currently is. Hearing this makes her happy and embarrassed. Now we see that the MC explained the change in his mom to Setsuka. Hearing this makes her say, you're saying that she changed her ways, huh? She asks him what's gotten into her sister all of a sudden. The MC thinks and suddenly gets scared as he asks, what if his mom was a robot all along? Hearing this makes Setsuka say that she doesn't think that's what changing her ways means. Yukito thinks that he'll skip talking about his sister since she's always weird, but he's seriously worried about what's going on with his mom. She asks him how exactly is her behavior strange. He tells her that it's hard to explain. As he says this, he thinks, I thought she was just worried about being sick, but actually, she looked more radiant than ever. As he thinks that, he tells Setsuka-san that his mom was kind of sexy. As she hears this, she gets confused and shocked. He realizes what he just said and thinks that he went and said something unnecessary again. He tells her that's not how it is, and that she said something like, starting over as a mom. Setsuka asks him, is that even something she can redo? As she says this, she tries calling her sister. Setsuka calls her sister and tells her that Yuki-chan asked her to, so she decided to attend the parent-teacher meeting. We only hear Setsuka talk. She sounds confused and asks, what are you saying now, after all this time? She continues and says that Yuki-chan said that she's been acting strange lately and asks her sister what does she mean by starting over as a mother. Setsuka gets angry and cuts the call as she tells the mom that she's coming over there right now. As she cuts the call, we see the MC and Setsuka walk out of the house and go to his house. As they are walking, she asks him if something happened recently. He looks sad as he tells her that he reunited with people he believed he'd never see again. He got confessed to for real, not as a joke. Not only is their neighbor weirdly into him, even his mom and sister are acting strange, and his sister's been way too touchy lately. He got falsely accused of groping, got saved by someone, and later got into a bike accident, then ended up going to a mixer with those same people. He thinks that was more eventful than he thought. As he thinks of this, he looks at Setsuka-san and sees that she looks worried and shocked. Suddenly she asks him something. We don't know what she asked him. We now see that the MC and Setsuka-san are back at his house. We see Setsuka asking the mom, why is she always just thinking of herself? The mom begs Setsuka and tells her that she's running out of time. The MC looks at the fight and thinks that they're fighting again, and it's his fault, just like it was back then. He looks pained as he thinks that it was painful. If he just didn't exist, if he'd never been born, none of this would have happened. They wouldn't have drifted apart. He thinks about his past with the other girls and thinks that neither of those times brought him sadness. Only resignation lingered, and he convinced himself that it was acceptable. Maybe it's because the day he took Setsuka-san's hand, he suffered all the grief one heart can hold in a lifetime. That day, sorrow engulfed everything, and after that he became unable to cry. Suddenly, we see Setsuka-san reach out her hand to the MC as she tells him that something might happen to him if he stays here. He hesitantly reaches his hand to take hers, but suddenly the mom comes and grabs him from the back as she looks really desperate to not let him go. She grabs onto him tightly as she says that not even Setsuka would be able to take him anymore. With tears in her eyes, she says, I love him. I need this child. Hearing this surprises him. He thinks, I am needed? Does mom really need me? The mom tells him that she doesn't expect to be forgiven. She accepts being hated for life if that's the price. Even so, parting without ever telling him how she feels. She can't stand the thought of things staying like that. She grabs his face and gets close to him and tells him that she just wants him to know how much he means to her and how much she truly loves him. Yukito asks her what's wrong and that her face is getting closer and closer. As he's screaming, she gets real close and starts kissing him. Setsuka gets confused and asks the mom what is she doing. Setsuka pushes the mom away and tells her that Yukito will die if she keeps going. The MC looks confused and scared as he thought that he was going to die. The mom gets a serious look on her face as she tells Setsuka that she's serious about this, more than anyone, even her. Hearing this shocks Setsuka. Setsuka gets annoyed and grinds her teeth. She screams and tells the mom that she's got a lot of nerve saying that now. She refuses to lose, especially to the mom. As the two women glare at each other, the MC lays in his mom's lap and thinks, when did this weird fight start? Now we see that, though his controversial remarks at the quiz show drew some criticism, Yukito Kokonoe's absurd accusations failed to gain traction, and his attempt to weaponize social media didn't unfold like a scene from a drama. But now we see the principal scared as he looks at a paper and says, "Why did things end up like this?" Fujishiro tells him that even the rest of the students couldn't figure it out until the end. The principal tells her that he was sure that they hadn't done anything wrong. He looks at the paper and thinks, although usually only about 20% of parents attend the class observation day, this year almost all of them showed up. Suddenly he realizes something. He thinks that this was Yukito's real objective from the very beginning. This wasn't just a foolish, reckless act of some troublesome student. It was a disturbingly calculated plan, targeting their weak points with uncanny accuracy. Sanjuji adds in and tells the principal that she's heard that many of the parents are furious. Hearing this scares the principal even more. Sanjuji winks at Fujishiro to show that she's helping her. Fujishiro smiles and thinks that a high turnout is usually something to be glad about. But with this timing, it's hard to see it as mere coincidence. Parents lodged a direct and unequivocal protest against the school. It's one thing to be criticized by one or two parents, but with this many coming at them, there's no way they can carry on as usual. She never thought the day would come when Yukito would protect her too. She has a worried look in her eyes as she thinks, to think even Mikuriya's parents came. I had been worried about him, but ultimately, I couldn't do anything. To the Mikuriya family, Yukito is nothing short of a savior. Perhaps Suzukawa and Kamishiro's families feel the same. That's why, should anyone dare to harm him, they will face their unforgiving wrath. Now that she thinks about it, Suma's been a lot more cheerful lately. She even heard Yukito's been giving advice about relationships. She smiles and says that Yukito is acting more like a teacher than herself. The principal looks tense as he tells Fujishiro to make sure the parents don't get the wrong idea. He's counting on her to smooth things over and make them understand that they meant no harm or disrespect toward the students. Fujishiro replies and says that she'll do her best. But suddenly she looks troubled and tells him that, however, there's a chance she may not be able to handle it herself, so in that case, she will look forward to his support. Hearing this worries the principal. As he worries and scratches his almost bald head, Fujishiro looks at him with a grin and says, "Sleep in fear, you bald bastard." Suddenly, the telephone starts ringing in the room. Sanjuji picks it up and tells the principal that there's a phone call for him. As he takes the call, he says, "Tuju-sensei." Hearing this surprises Fujishiro. He talks on the phone and says, "If you're referring to the matter from the other day, yes, those students are indeed registered with us. We've also had several issues involving them," he says, "yes," and agrees to something. He cuts the call and releases the biggest sigh as he tells Fujishiro to please call Yukito over here at once. As we see Yukito talking with his classmates and helping them, we hear the principal say that Yukito will be suspended from school for 1 week. And this is how this chapter ends. Hope you all enjoyed. Please like, share, and subscribe, and leave a comment. Thank you,